I was an actor who was teaching, who was waiting for my gig so I could cruise and start acting full time. Get an episodic, get a big position in a feature film so that my resume could jump a couple bucks and I could get considered for some bigger roles. And that was me for a couple of years. But I've fallen in love with facilitating. I've fallen in love with teaching and with assisting actors with these aha moments, where it clicks for them when they do something and all of a sudden it makes sense to them. And they go, oh, shit. Fuck, yes, I get it. I get it. That to me is more gratifying than any moment on set for me personally. I love that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creativity Worth Expressing. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez, and today our guest, he's a great one. He is an acting instructor and tactical combat and firearms instructor, is a professionally trained actor for over 25 years, and has been featured in numerous films, commercials, and TV shows. He is also a teacher for the adult beginners and intermediate acting classes at the Professionals Actors Studio and is proud to be an instructor of the A.A.T.T, also known as the Actors Acting Tactical Training. Our guest today is Scott Oakley. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ryan. Proud to be here.
And I'm proud to have you on the program. Thank you for being here. And to get started, I always like to begin with asking each guest what sparked their love for creativity to begin with.
It happened when I was young. It happened when I was 6 years old, and I went with my parents to see Star Wars at the movie theater. And I remember sitting there watching the movie, thinking to myself, I want to do this. I want to be able to play and have somebody give me everything that I need to live in this fictional world and exist in it. And I watched the actors play the parts, and I watched the green screen behind them. Of course, I didn't know it was a green screen. I thought it was real life, but I knew it wasn't real life. I knew somebody was providing that for them. And I said, I want to do that. And I cried when it was over. I didn't want to leave the theater. I immediately went home and was Darth Vader in the neighborhood. And a bunch of people wanted to be stormtroopers, so I got to be Darth Vader for like 2 fucking weeks, and it was excellent. It was so much fun, and that's what sparked my interest in creativity, in theatrical arts.
So at 6 years old, you already had the desire to do something creative, but what kept that spark alive? Because so many times as children, they get maybe discouraged or it gets frowned upon and that spark dies out. But for you, what kept it going?
Play. I was constantly encouraged to play, and I was playing outside. So all I had was my imagination and some props. And we went from Star Wars to Raiders of the Lost Ark to Cowboys and Indians to G.I. Joe. And we constantly played in imaginary circumstances. And, Sanford Meisner says that living in imaginary circumstances realistically is acting. And that's what I immersed myself in from the time I was 6 years old until the time I became 15. And I actually got a chance to do acting. And I just played.
And how was that first role? How can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, it was really neat. It was a role with Elizabeth Montgomery. And I played, it was a featured background role, and I played her son. And it was just a blip to a moment in time where she was with her younger son, and I was her younger son. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I was on a movie set, and I was with Elizabeth Montgomery, and it was surreal to me. I couldn't believe it. It was like I was there doing it.
And so that was your start. And from there, how did your acting evolve? I know you say that you have play, but also you have, I mean, it's you have a huge love for acting, but how did your acting evolve from there?
As I started doing it, I started to be interested in the types of acting that there are. So I kind of sought out different ways of educating myself in the disciplines. And I got familiarized with Stanislavski. I became familiarized with Sanford Meisner, Uta Hagen, um, a little bit about the method technique, some check-off techniques, and different ways of grounding yourself in the character. And as I became more familiar with those, I tried those out until I found a way of doing it that complemented me.
Hmm.
And I kind of put it all into a lunchbox and made my own lunch out of it. It's a little bit of Stanislavski, a little bit of Meisner, a little bit of method, a little bit of Chekhov. And I made a lunch out of it that I like to eat and made my own technique. And throughout the years and everything, it just kind of evolved that way. And through numerous different schools and different teachers and such, it just sort of, it became my own. I hope that answered your question. Hope I did that the right way.
Yes, because a lot of creatives, I think they can, gather disciplines and philosophies from those in the past, and we hear from you how you're able to gather it, but then you make your own what's comfortable for you. I mean, you're the one who's going to be acting, you're the one who's going to do the role. So for you, as you're gathering these different disciplines and philosophies, now, what would you say is like your unique technique, or what is your rhythm to get into a role?
Be yourself. You don't know anything about anything other than yourself. Everything you know, you've seen, or you've heard, or you've experienced, but it's laid on your table. So before you go and you try to create a character about something that you know little or nothing about, something an author has wrote about that is his specialty or her specialty and not necessarily yours, be yourself. Build that character from the inside out, not from the outside in. Start with yourself. Ask yourself the magic if, Stanislavski's second step. If that was you, it's not going to be you. It's probably not ever going to be you. But if it was you, how would you feel? What would you do? What would you say? How would you say those words on the paper? Start there. And then slowly start to refill from the bottom all the characteristics of the character on top of you so that you have a nice level playing field to start from and build it up and out instead of trying to just jump into a character and go, okay, the character's a police officer. Well, you've never been a police officer. You're probably not going to be a police officer. You don't know jack shit about being a police officer. What the fuck do you know about being a police officer? You're gonna drive it right into the mud. But you have some commonalities with police officers. They're usually a little nervous. They are usually a little apprehensive about who they're talking to. They usually have a little bit of an ego because of the position that they hold. And I'm sure that everybody can relate to a little bit of that. We've all been apprehensive. We've all been a little nervous. We've all held positions where we go, hey, this is kind of the shit here, you know? I think I'm a little bit 2 feet taller than most people today. Start with the commonalities that you hold and then work into the differences.
So, in the beginning of your career, did you have discipline, or is this something that came throughout your career?
It came throughout my career. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Pasadena, California when I was 20. And I stayed there for a little bit, and I got this ego about not wanting to be a starving artist anymore. And I trained in LA and I worked in LA, but I just got over LA real quick with the industry and the scene. And I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. I think I'm going to just do something else. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I thought, I really want to go back and just get things going with my family and do all that stuff. So I quit the industry and took a hiatus and started a different life. And I've had probably 3 or 4 different lives in my lifetime that I could proudly say I've done and finished to my area of completion. and started another one. And acting was one of them I started young and then took a hiatus from and then came back to. And very happy and very grateful that I was able to come back to it, because some of the careers that I chose were not very safe. And I made it out and got back into acting. And as I said, I'm very thankful to be able to come back into acting. And I've been doing it now for about 16 years, I guess, in the Atlanta market.
And taking that hiatus, do you think it had some benefits for you personally?
Yes, absolutely. I started a family. I have 2 beautiful children. I have 3 beautiful bonus children. I had a first wife who was a very good mother. I'm currently married to my current wife, who is a wonderful, wonderful person. I had a career as a bounty hunter, which I enjoyed immensely. Taught me a lot of things about life, about people, about weapons, which is why I can train them. Had a career as a salesperson, which taught me a lot about people, about mirroring people, about personality types, about how to get yourself into hard situations and out of hard situations, both mentally and verbally. So I learned a lot about people in sales, and all that I can bring into my acting career. And it complements that. So I'm very thankful to have done what I have done.
And I heard you say bounty hunter. I wonder how your family must have felt during your adventures, your missions. I mean, that's a very heavy business, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's not a playtime. You get paid on a death certificate or on a certificate of incarceration, one or the other. So it really is dead or alive, you get paid. And you zip the bag up or you cuff the body up and take them with you.
And so you've spoken about the combat and the tactical. Can you walk us through what that's like in your life, helping other actors and teaching people?
Yes, the combat part of it is teaching actors to be responsible and respectful and accurate with small arms firearms, shotguns, machine guns, and pistols. And we work realistically, but we also work for film and television. But we'll teach you how to hold the weapon. We'll teach you how to present the weapon, how to move tactically with the weapon, the different positions you can have with the weapon, how to move in different 2-person or 3-person teams with a weapon. So when you're done, you will look like you know exactly what you're doing with these weapons. You'll look professional. And when you're done, you can also clear your own house or any area of real estate that you would like to adequately, professionally, and responsibly. So if you have to get yourself out of a tight situation, you'll have the techniques to do that for yourself with.
So we've spoken about your creative journey, how you fell in love with Star Wars at the age of 6, and then from there you're in a movie role at 15, and so on. But now you're teaching. Which one? I mean, which one inspires, or which one do you love most? The acting role, being in front of the camera, or helping others to prepare for a role?
You know, that's a good fucking question, because that's changed. It used to be I was an actor who was teaching, who was waiting for my gig so I could cruise and start acting full time. You know, get an episodic, get a big position in a feature film so that my resume could jump a couple bucks and I could get considered for some bigger roles. And that was me for a couple of years. But I've fallen in love with facilitating. I've fallen in love with teaching and with assisting actors with these aha moments, you know, where it clicks for them when they do something and all of a sudden it makes sense to them. And they go, oh, shit. Fuck, yes, I get it. I get it. That to me is more gratifying than any moment on set for me personally. I love that. So there's like, Scott has different parts. I've got different things going on in my head, and I've got different things that feed and satisfy those things. And when I'm on set, I couldn't be happier. I love being on set. That's home for me. I'm very comfortable on set. But teaching really satisfies the deeper desires that I have to give and to assist, because that really feeds my soul. That's what really keeps me moving. If I didn't have that outlet, I would be a very, very sad person, I think. And with the tactical experiences, that just adds another flavor that I can bring to these actors and to these people that are wanting that kind of competency.
And can you share, because I can hear the passion that you have, can you share a memory that stands out from your acting career and a memory that stands out, if you're okay with it, a memory that stands out with your teaching career?
Memory that stands out in my acting career. Yeah, I was doing a short called Maelstrom, and it did really well on the independent circuits. And it starred me, and I was playing a psychopath, which I love those dark roles. I'm usually the antagonist. I usually play the bad guys, which I really dig. And this guy had kidnapped a young teenage girl and was holding her hostage in his basement in this room with a red light. And she had a mattress and she was chained to the floor. And I would ritualistically come in during the evening times and give her a little bit of food with the idea that I wanted to start a family for my wife who could not have children and was sick in bed upstairs. And so the movie continues, and I'm showing this character off, and in the end, she comes down and she finds out what I'm doing, and then it leaves you in a cliffhanger position. And my wife was there watching me shoot this movie on set with me as I'm going after this little girl. And some of the scenes are fairly graphic. And it was rather odd having my wife there watching me work in this character capacity. And if anybody listening has ever been on set and has ever done a horror movie or a psychological thriller, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say it's so mechanical in its making. It's almost funny. I'm 6'3" and I weigh 210 pounds, and this girl is probably 5'2" and weighed $1. And I'm on top of her. And they're like, okay, Scott, move your arm a little bit. I can't see your face. So I'm like, oh, there you go. Okay. She said, move your hips a little bit. I'm like, there you go. Okay. Tip your head down. Okay, there you go. And that's it. Just like that. Now talk to her. I'm like, all right, you little bitch. Now you're going to get it. But I'm all wrapped up like this, and it's uncomfortable. And we're laughing. She's laughing at me, and I'm laughing at her. And then there's action, and it switches like that, and the lights go off, and the lights come on, and it's boom. It's in the moment. And my wife's sitting there watching it, and she's such a good sport. But I have to admit, there was a couple times where I was self-conscious, where I tried to get into character and I couldn't do it because out of my peripheral, I could see my wife going, And I felt a little judged. But it was a lot of fun, and the movie was a great success.
And how about for teaching? Is there like a moment that stands out from your teaching career?
Yes, it's a sad moment. I had a guy come into my beginner's class, good-looking African-American male. Gentleman was dead set on getting a Tyler Perry role. And that's what he wanted. So he studied with me for about 2 weeks. He comes back with an audition from Tyler Perry. He got one. And he wanted me to coach him into this audition. I told him I thought it was a bad idea because he had just got into the industry. And Tyler Perry works notoriously fast in his productions. And if you can't improv your way into 2 takes, you're going to get replaced. And he wasn't there professionally. So he asked me to do it, so I told him I would. I coached him into the audition. Lo and behold, this gentleman got the part. A reoccurring role in a Tyler Perry production. He was so happy. He was crying. He hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, told me how much he appreciated me. I changed his life. He got on set. His first day on set, he had a 5-page rewrite. He got into makeup. They gave him the script, 5 pages in red, all rewrote. He had to accommodate and get familiar with. He couldn't do it. He wasn't familiar enough with his technique. He wasn't familiar enough with any techniques to be able to pull something like that off. So he gets to set. He gets ready to rock. Couldn't do it. Tyler Perry calls him out. He shows back up at my class the next Sunday. His face is all gaunt. His eyes are red. He tells me he's going back to Dallas. He quits. I said, what happened? He starts crying again. He tells me that he lost his position with Tyler Perry. He fired him on the spot because he couldn't hang. He said, I've attempted my dream. I got it, and I failed. He said, I can't start over again. I can't start at ground one and attempt to get this again and then maybe fail again. I can't take that. So I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go back into marketing in Dallas. And marketing was like selling timesharing resorts, which is what he used to do. And he's pretty good at it. And thus he gave me a hug, kissed me on the cheek again, hugged me and cried, said he was going to miss the studio and miss us, but he was taking a flight back to Dallas. And I remember him. His name was Tony. And it was a sad thing. The moral of that story is don't go hunting bear unless you've got the ammo to put him down, because you might run into him and you might take a shot, but you've got to kill him or you're just going to piss him off. Don't go hunting for opportunities that you're not prepared for yet. Take your time. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. When the time comes, you'll be there, and so will the opportunity. But don't rush it.
Wow, thank you. That was, I think, some great advice that even I can use at this point. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
And for you and your journey, well, we heard in the story of your friend there, Tony. But for you and your creative journey, what are some challenges that you've run into, and how did you overcome those challenges?
One challenge in particular that may sound kind of silly, but some people might be able to relate to this. Being 6'3", I'm too tall for leading roles. They want somebody like around the 5'11", 5'10", 6 foot mark. So being 6'3", I've been categorized as the bad guy or as a supporting role. And that's because the leading ladies aren't that tall. So when I stand next to somebody who's going to be a leading lady, I tower over them. And that makes the shot like that. So she's got to look up to talk to me, and I've got to look down to talk to her or him or whoever the other counterpart is. And it just doesn't look right on film. They have these apple boxes and shit. And that was when I heard that from my agent, I was like, what? Fucking no, 6'3" is cool, dude. That's big. They're like, yeah, that's big. That's a little too big. It's a little too big. We need you around the 6 foot, 6'1" type to really be considered for that. But we're still going to market you. We're still going to push you. Just know that if you don't get this, this is probably the reason why. And I was like, well, fuck. Okay. And it has been a hindrance a little bit. Thankfully, they go off of talent a little bit more than that. But there is that aesthetic you need to work at. When I was on film for the Fast and the Furious 7, here's a little bit of information for you. If you're a Vin Diesel fan, Vin Diesel uses apple boxes to stand next to The Rock.
Really?
Vin Diesel is 6 foot, I think, and The Rock is 6'5". That mug, he's tall. I stood next to him, and he's like this. And I was like, hey, man. And he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, good. And I don't do that for much anybody having to do that. He's a big guy. And Vin Diesel's, he's like this. And whenever you see them together, they're always looking eye to eye, right? Because they're two big guys. And, no, fuck that shit, dude. Vin Diesel's on 2 apple boxes, and he's a fluffy looking dude. The Rock is cut. So Hollywood magic is a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for you, when you heard that they were telling you that 6'3" is too big, too tall, maybe there's some people out there who would be discouraged and say, you know what, this is not for me. I give up. But you kept going. What was it that kept you hungry and kept you in it?
I have a problem with authority.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like being told no. I don't like speed limits. I don't like speed limit signs. Those little lights that blink at you when you go by and it says 45, too fast, too fast. I purposely go as fast as I can from point A to point B to get those signs to flash and then turn off. I fucking hate being told no. So to tell me no, you can't do it, just lit a fire under me that said, fuck, I can't. I can too. Tom Selleck was 6'4", and he was Magnum, and they wanted him to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So if Tom Selleck can do it, then I can make a mark. I could cause some damage up in this motherfucker. Let's see what we got.
I love it.
Yeah. So it was that kind of just disturbed behavior that caused me to keep going.
Well, we've seen your creative journey from the beginning to where you are today, now that you're instructing people and giving people the advice they need. But Scott, now my question for you is, how do you see your creativity or your career evolving in the future?
I am deeply embedded in the studio at Nick Conti's Professional Actor Studio in Buckhead, Georgia. It's in Atlanta. I'd like to be there teaching for quite some time. It's a great studio. If I'm not there teaching, then I would continually be teaching somewhere, if not on Zoom privately with another studio, or again, just doing it privately one-on-ones. I've got a great agent. I'm with Houghton Talent in Atlanta. So I don't want to go anywhere with them. If they'll have me, I'll stay with them. And I love doing what I'm doing. If I died right now, I would be happy. My resume is fine. I've got a nice resume, to use the word again, of students that have come and go with me. Currently, I've got a nice handful of students that I work with, and that's growing all the time. So to say what I want it to be, I would just like to see it mature adequately, because I'm happy. I feel fortunate.
And so, since you are an instructor, is this only in Buckhead, or do you do also like over Zoom, or do you have to go to the actual place?
No, I also do over Zoom. I can
Okay.
do nationally or globally.
And how can people find you? Do you have a website?
You can go to Pro Actors Studio, that's with two S's, proactorsstudio.com. And that gets to Nick Conti's Professional Actor Studio website. And you can contact me there. Or you can go to Instagram and go to Scott F. Oakley. And you can contact me on Instagram there. And I'll be happy to chat with you.
Perfect. So for those in the audience, if you missed that, go ahead and you can find the links on the show notes. I'll make sure to insert them there so you can, if you're interested, you can go and check out the work, have the instructions from Scott Oakley. And before we wrap this up, I have just a couple more questions.
Sure.
And
Yeah, we're over already. That went quick.
one of the questions I have for you is, who are some upcoming artists, creatives out there that you suggest we keep an eye out for?
Upcoming creatives. In what capacity do you mean?
Can be acting, can be directors, filmmakers.
Gosh, that's a really good question. There's so many, and depending on your demographic, that's a real local gig, because it's so big locally. There's a couple here in Atlanta. Timothy Collins is a writer-director. He did Maelstrom. He's got a lot of good stuff coming out. Gosh, there's a handful of people. What I would recommend that you do is get involved in your local theater. Get involved with some local Facebook groups and see what the scene looks like in your local demographic. Do some networking gigs. Get your name out there and your face out there, and find out for yourselves what your local demographic is doing, and become involved that way. And then make your mind up for yourself what kind of genre you would like to follow, and what kind of directors, producers, or actors are doing the things that you like. Because my opinion may be way fucking different than your opinion, because I like horror shit, and you may go, horror? Fucking no, man. I like rom-com. So I may give you to go, this guy's way off my belt, man. No good, no bueno. So dig into your own demographic and find your genre and find your kind of influences, and make your own bed.
Thank you. And now my last question is the question that I ask all my guests, and that is, Scott, why is creativity important for you?
Boy, that's a good question. That's a really nice question. Creativity allows you the platform to give of yourself. When you're creative and you open yourself up and you allow those inner parts of yourself to become exposed through the words of other artists, through the words of other authors or through the embodiment of other characters. You're giving and you're making an impression. You become a mouthpiece for others that don't have that mouthpiece. That is the biggest form of, what's the word I'm looking for that would be adequate? Self-completion that I can think of. You have insecurities and you have inadequacies that everybody deals with. Everybody has those things. But it takes a special kind of person to expose those on film and to become transparent and to become vulnerable under scrutiny and to give those things out to people under the sole purpose of being entertained. I can't find a better reason to exist than to give. Because those things come back to you. You don't live to get things. Things only want more things. And I've learned throughout the history of my life, I've had things, I've lost things, I've been with a lot of money, and I've been with no money. Money and things don't make you happy. They don't complete you. They drain you. They judge you. And at the end, they'll destroy you. What makes you happy and complete you is giving of yourself. And that's going to be the only thing that does it. Because it's satisfying. Deep satisfying. But that will also feed you and give you unimaginable things, both in tangibles and intangibles. That's what keeps me going, is giving. It satisfies me.
Thank you so much, Scott. And to those in the audience, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode so that other people may also discover the importance of creativity that was just shared by our guest, Scott Oakley. And to Scott, thank you so much for being an awesome guest on my podcast, Creativity Worth Expressing.
Ryan, thank you. You rock, man. Appreciate you having me.
You rock too, brother.